As we go about our daily lives, it is all too easy to forget that this country is still fighting two wars. And then a story comes along that grabs us and jolts us back to reality and reminds us of the extraordinary sacrifice many of our neighbors are making, including the youngest of children. David Martin has brought us such a story.
Children don't belong in graveyards. They're too full of life. But this is a very different graveyard. This is Section 60 at Arlington National Cemetery, where the dead from Iraq and Afghanistan lie buried. Nikki Bunting brings her sons Connor and Cooper here every Sunday.
Section 60 is very unique. It's not like any other cemetery you'll ever see in this specific section. There's so many young people, young kids, so we kind of try to keep it a joyous place.
Her husband Brian's headstone, like so many here in Section 60, marks a life cut short, a young family torn apart. But 2-year-old Cooper is proof life is stronger than death.
I'm doing the math on Cooper.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Yeah. He was our little R&R baby. He's a spitting image of my husband. It's really nice.
Brian was home on a so-called rest and recreation tour in February of 2009. Shortly after he returned to Afghanistan, he and 3 others were killed by a roadside bomb.
At the time he was killed, we didn't know that we were pregnant. So 4 days after I was notified of his death is when I found out that we were pregnant. So it was just such a miracle. It was the best news I could have ever received.
Cooper actually took his first step at his father's grave.
Right here. Yep, he held onto it and then he just stepped. It was amazing. It was absolutely remarkable. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Connor is old enough to have some memory of his father and to understand a little bit about what this place means.
Connor calls Arlington heaven, so he's obviously a little confused with what's going on, but you know, if he wants to think this is heaven, that's fine.
The first time I brought him here, I told him that we were gonna visit his dad, and he came to the grave and he started knocking and saying, "Come out, Daddy, I'm here."
Veronica Ortiz's children are a little older. Their extended family drives 6 hours from North Carolina to spread out around the grave of her husband, Sergeant Javier Ortiz Rivera.
What do you get out of bringing your children here?
It's as close as I'm gonna get to him.
Do you think bringing them here helps them deal with it?
I do. We've been here before where there's other funerals going on. So they know they're not the only ones. They know that they're not the only kids in the world who have gone through what we have.
Ashley Cutsforth drives 4 hours to bring her infant son, Sean Jr., to visit his father's grave.
He was born exactly 4 months after Sean died.
Do you bring him for a reason?
Yeah, I want him to be able to know that his dad's among the best, so I bring him here. And
Sean Jr. doesn't know it yet, but he's been among the best since the moment he was born.
My husband's entire platoon showed up when he was born, so we had 30-plus soldiers in a delivery room.
30 in the delivery room?
Well, they came right as soon as he was born. They came right on in.
Section 60 is surely the most solemn place in America, but children do belong here.
You want to eat?
Their fathers couldn't defy death, but there is no more perfect expression of life than a baby's cry. David Martin, CBS News, Arlington National Cemetery.
Arlington National Cemetery was established near the end of the Civil War, but veterans of all of America's wars, from the Revolution to Iraq and Afghanistan, are buried there now, more than 300,000 in all.